Okay, good evening. Good evening, everyone. We are continuing painting Angron today. So we're into day 6, episode 6 of painting Angron. How exciting is that? We've made some good progress so far. This is what we've got right now. Angron's kind of looking good. By the way, can everyone, whoever's hanging out in chat, can you let me know if the audio is okay, if the music is okay, etc., etc.? If everything can be heard and nothing is too overpowering, please do let me know. But yeah, this is what we have with Angron right now. What we're going to be doing today is largely working on the leather and the bone elements of the Primarch. So there's quite a bit of that all over the model, and we're going to be hitting that up today. So it's going to be some good fun. Nice, easy work today. We can hang out and stream too. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. So let's all settle in for a little bit of hobby. It's going to be good. So what I've done already is put out a base layer of Rhinox hide on Angron. So we're going to be working from this base layer and adding more and more layers. So we'll see how it goes. So the base layer of Rhinox hide is down. We're going to start working the next layer up, which is Tondia Brown. And now we're going to work in pretty thin layers for most of this because we're going to be doing a lot of different brown layers. So we have to kind of make sure that our layers are really thin and watered down so they don't get too overpowering. So we're starting off with that. Tondia Brown, it's not too different from Rhinox hide, but it's a nice kind of base layer for leathers and skull and bone and stuff like that. So we're not differentiating too much from the bones and the leathers right now. We're just kind of still largely working with the same paints. We'll differentiate as we go on. But yeah, hope everyone is doing okay. If there's any problems with audio, just let me know in chat as well so I can adjust things from here. And let me know what you folks are up to for the evening, what we're doing, chilling out on what is a Saturday evening for me, but potentially is a Saturday morning for you folks over in America. I'm enjoying a cheeky little craft beer this evening after playing a very, very interesting game today, another test game for my list. I was playing into the wonderful Blood Angels, which wasn't a good game, a very, very close game. The Blood Angels ended up taking the victory. Came right down to the wire in turn 5. It was a real nail biter, and it finished 98 to 92 to 88 to the Blood Angels. So real close. Angron got up to a lot of mischief in that game as well, which was good fun. Good times for Angron. So we're just putting down this Tondia Brown layer, and we're following it over the Rhinox hide layer. We're more or less covering the entirety of the area that we did initially, which pretty easy stuff. Any of you folks doing any hobby for the evening, or are we all just chilling and watching the stream? Or morning, potentially. I know this is probably the first weekend a lot of people have had with their new miniatures, so I imagine there's quite a lot of hobby going on, which is pretty hype. I'm starting to feel the deadline approaching for Angron, which is a little bit unpleasant. I'm getting quite nervous about actually getting him done in time. I really like this tabard that he's got going on here as well. For now, we're just going to lay down some tones on it, but later on this evening, we are going to put some interesting stuff going on. About to hit the desk, Jay. Let's go. Let's go, my friend. What is on the desk? Got any cool hobby going down? I feel like a lot of people started painting with Angron. Jamie's getting the 8-bound horde going. I know Jack is just finished up day one of his GT. Jack's doing phenomenally well. He is currently 2-1 after defeating some very, very difficult opponents. He played Craftworld Elder and the Knights, which in my opinion are two of the boogeyman matchups for our new book. So beat both of them, which was awesome for Jack. Get some hype for Jack going. Hopefully his day 2 tomorrow goes quite well. Finishing trim on various Ultramarines. Yikes. That is unpleasant. Nobody got time for trim. Joshua is despair in Discord. Good to know. Good to know, Jay. I'm taking a guess at that being Jay. Jay, who stayed with us in Vegas, I'm guessing, because there's not many Jays hanging out in World Leader Discords that play Ultramarines. I'm guessing. So yeah, we're just putting this Tondia bark layer over the tabard, which is pretty easy right now. It's just kind of about creating some shadows rather than doing too much with a layer, which is some nice therapeutic work, really. We're going to get into the harder parts of the leathers later on. Apparently, Jamie cursed Jack by hobbying. That's the real reason why he lost the orcs. It is pretty freaky that Jamie is doing hobby. So I had some interesting takeaways from my game into Blood Angels today. Sanguinary Guard is still really, really scary and powerful for us. They're still kind of difficult to deal with, but with the Blood type buff to give us +1 weapon skill, they actually become a little bit easier. But with the amount of free war gear that Blood Angels get, it can be really oppressive. It can actually be quite difficult to hold back any units that you want to inside transports, because with the amount of melta pistols that they have going around, you just can't really keep those rhinos safe anymore. Like it's pretty scary when a squad of deck company fly up in front of a rhino, blow it up in the shooting phase, and then charge everything inside. So I think that's something that like we're not really necessarily used to seeing in the Blood Angels or Space Marine matchup, that we are going to have to get used to seeing, specifically with Blood Angels, because they effectively get like 40 plus melta pistols in their list for free now, which is not something that I was really necessarily fully appreciated of until the last couple of weeks of practicing into BA. But yeah, it was a little bit eye-opening about how to kind of play the trades. I think I played the trades pretty well. it was really really close game, but and there was a couple of big pivot moments. I mean, like the game ended with like 4 points in the margin, so was very close in that sense. But um, I think understanding that we don't necessarily need to commit so many units to a fight now to get an effective result is important. Like I feel like overkilling units is quite a bad misplay for us now because it means that we're gonna likely lose those units in the next turn. So it can be not necessarily the most efficient play, I think. Which was an interesting observation that I found. So I think I have the Blood Angels game locked down now. I think if I was to play Blood Angels again, I should be able to beat them. Maybe not if I was playing one of my regular buddies who know my army really well, but I think if I was to play a Blood Angels player that wasn't necessarily used to playing World Eaters, I think I got them toasted. One thing that Blood Angels can do really, really well is deal with Angron, which is a big problem that I found. Like they can reliably kill him in the shooting phase with all the melta pistols they have, which is pretty scary. So Angron respawned a whole bunch of times in this game, which was amusing. But he can be like kind of a scalpel that just comes in and takes away one of their big melee units, which is quite good because they can't really survive against Angron, which is nice. What is everyone working on that's hanging out in chat? Tell me of your hobby. And tell me if you've been playing games. I'm curious to hear other people's experiences with the book, with the models, with what we're all doing. Ramshackle sucks. Is Ramshackle -1 damage, or is it a feel no pain? I can't remember what it is now. It's -1 damage, right? I don't know if I've played Orc since they've gotten their quota. Oh no, I have. I played the plain list at a tournament. That was unpleasant. I don't think I've played them since they got nerfed, though. Just not that many Orc players around Ireland. -1 damage versus strength 7 or less. Oh, yeah, okay, 8 bands. Yeah, that sucks. Man, I really don't think 8 band are that good. I've played them a few games now and I am thoroughly unimpressed by them. Yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. Like, the loss of strength 7 and strength 8 attacks is kind of annoying. But if you bring Angron, you have them in buckets. So I know everyone's saying the Eviscerator Berserkers are great. Theoretically, yes, but mine have this really weird habit of like fluffing their rolls all the time and missing like 4 times out of 5. And me just being like, oh, okay, cool. Cool. So someday I'm sure I'll appreciate them when they actually turn on and decide to start hitting good. Like I had them hitting on 2s, and I was consistently rolling 4 1s with them, just being like, oh, that's tight. Which was quite amusing. I'm also finding Spawn to be very, very underwhelming and very ineffective in games. But Jackals continue to impress me. In turn one of this game, had 10 Jackals charge into 5 Van Vets and kill 4 of them. Which is pretty baller. You've got Goths again in the morning. Is that the list with all the Grots though? You know the one you were telling us is like Macari is the warlord? Okay, so we have those skulls done. Pretty sweet. Let's do this hoof. Hoof. Thanya Bark is a nice in between paint to work your way up to Mornfang Brown, I found. I really like it. I feel like a lot of people kind of skip the Thanya Bark as a thing and just go straight from Rhine Oxide to Mornfang Brown, which is fine, but this is a real nice intermission kind of paint. What are you nerds talking about lists in the chat for? Are you trying to brain trust your way to a winning Jacks game tomorrow morning? Tomorrow I am playing Tyranids, which will be my second last practice game. And I am playing against, I think, 5 Carnifexes, a Hive Tyrant, the Swarm Lord, and a Dimicarian. You gotta ask, what is the brass paint I've been using? It looks incredible. It does look good, doesn't it? It really, really came out quite nice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty chuffed with the brass. So the brass, we did it on episode 4, I think. But what it is Jet Exhaust Burnt Iron as the base tone, which is a paint from Ammo Mig. It's similar to Warp Black Bronze if you don't have access to Ammo Mig paints. And then what we did was we mixed in a little bit of Retributor armor. We just dry brushed that good stuff on, mixed in with the Jet Exhaust Burnt Iron, dry brush, mixed in a little bit more, another dry brush, looking good. And then we polished it off. A little bit of Canoptic Alloy mixed in there. And then we just hit it with a real final highlight of Canoptic Alloy as a dry brush. But yeah, it came out quite nice. Came out quite like Angron's armor in the artwork, I believe. But I think it's largely down to the heavy lifting that Jet Exhaust Burnt Iron did. It's a real nice dark paint. Yeah, if you've got Warplock Bronze, it's going to be pretty similar. It'll be a little bit brighter, I think. But you're going to get a fairly similar end result. Oh, don't shamefully steal it. I'm literally streaming painting Angron so that other people know how to do specific things that they quite like. Just the point of the painting streams is to show people how to do certain techniques and certain color mixes and stuff. You have my full permission to use whatever recipes you want. Yeah, Angron's brass does deserve special treatments, largely because it is such a dominating part of his armor. I think you want to make it look nice. I feel like you want to hit a good brass stone or silver. If you want to be crazy, you can always do his armor silver. I think that looks pretty cool too. Oh, your Angron still hasn't arrived, Jay? That sucks. That really sucks. I feel bad. Like, I have two Angrons at the minute, which is just silly. And a lot of people don't have one. Like, can we not make it so that everyone gets one before some people can get two? That would be a good way of distributing things. But yeah, you do have the advantage of getting to see what everyone else is doing. How did Angron lose you the Goffs game, Jack? Don't blame Daddy for things that are your fault. Didn't have enough trades? Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a problem. Angron failed his 8-inch resurrection charge, Jack. That's because you didn't believe. He will always fail the charge if you don't believe. And you strike me as the kind of man who believes that Angron will fail that charge, and then he does. You were charging Angron into Gretchen. Okay, fair enough. Jack, if you go 4-1 tomorrow, can you still podium? Or is it like only the people who are 5? No, there's like 30 people altogether, right? You can definitely still podium. Dean, will I be able to do a summary of how you painted Angron when you finally finish him? Yes. So I've said this on a couple of the streams, but what I'm going to be doing once everything is done is I'm going to be doing a supercut of all the different streams, just really quick sections from them where I kind of explain things. We're going to run through everything that I've done. I'm going to fill in the blanks and the parts that I didn't show on stream. And I will put out a video, which is going to be maybe 20 minutes long, maybe 30 minutes long. And it's just going to be basically how to paint Angron, the highlights. and we will talk through all the techniques because some people obviously didn't watch every single stream and can be a bit annoying to have to sit down for an hour to try and find the relevant information. So don't worry, we are going to make a supercut video at the end of all the stuff. And then in the future, we will probably do a deeper dive into kind of doing a masterclass on Angron, because this is not going to be you know, the best Angron that we could do. A lot of what we're doing here is kind of getting him not quite battle ready, but like up to decent enough standard that I can slap him on a tournament board, play him a few times, and then actually working on an Angron that I'm going to be proud of. But yeah, we will. That was a very long-winded way of saying yes. I will be doing a summary of Angron at some point. At some point, we do need to get some more of this Tondia bark out. Let's water them down. I think it's just a shame that Jamie isn't out here live streaming painting his 8 bands. That's what the people really want to see. You'll need two 95 plus wins to podium. Is it not largely dependent on how the other people who go 4-1 go? Because if it's a 30-man 3 events, you can't have 3 people undefeated. Can you even have 2 people undefeated at a 30-man events? I don't think so. Yeah, it is possible that no one ends up undefeated. Yeah. Oh, you don't need to apologize for making me repeat myself. I've been saying it on every video because people are hopping in and, like yourself, a little bit new, not necessarily sure about what's going on. And you're kind of coming in at a stage where Angron's like maybe halfway done. And of course, you're not going to know necessarily what the situation is going to be. So that's totally cool. We're here to make this content accessible to everyone. And I appreciate that the streaming hours aren't necessarily the best for everyone. They're just kind of what suits me. But we will be doing that supercut, no problem. We got to make sure that everyone who wants to see Angron get painted will see it. In whatever condition he ends up being. So we're going to work on Angron's poo sticker. For anyone who's not familiar, earlier in the week we decided that Samniarius was going to be renamed Plunja. The suggestion was given by the wonderful Mark of Khorne. So yeah, this is Angron's poo sticker. Potentially going to do a lot of typhus corrosion on it at some points to represent that. Taryn Prong saying, paint that angry boy. I am painting this angry boy. We're painting all his leathers and bones. The part that I find kind of boring, but it's really good that you folks are keeping me entertained in chat because I don't really have to focus on it too much because I hate painting leather and bone. It takes so long and yeah, I don't know. It's a boring process. So thank you all for keeping me entertained through this slightly arduous process for me. But you will get to see how I do paint that leather and bone, which isn't something I normally show on camera. Something that we kind of speed through most of the time. I kind of just summarize it. But it's one of those things that if you pay close attention to it, get nice results, which is always good. One thing that was pretty fun last night, if you missed the stream, we did a deep dive into some of my warband's lore, my custom warband, the Cinder Host of Macro lore, which was pretty fun. I was pretty hyped to see that people were really interested in that. So if you want to catch up on a bit of a lore discussion, custom lore discussion that is, catch yesterday's stream. Jay, what are you saying? Nothing's more painstaking than painting leather, and even more with bone. At least when you're doing both at the same time, it's like two birds with one stone with all the paint mixes. But yeah, it's just like it feels like it takes so long. At least for me, because there's like seven paints involved in the process. Just have to work up layers between each one. I get sleepy when I'm doing it, you know. Feeling good about this list though that I've written for this tournament. It feels quite strong. I ran the Hellbrutes today for the first time. Hellbrutes feel really nice now, especially one coming in from Strategic Reserve for free. Really enjoyed that little tech piece. It was great because I had the Blood Tide buff up for extra distance on charges. So he was making that 8-inch charge from Strategic Reserve, which he did hit. Got a little bit lucky for that, but it was good, you know. Made it into a Whirlwind, an annoying little tech piece that a lot of Blood Angel players like using is the Whirlwind. So he charged into that and took it apart with the Power Scourge, which was pretty cool. And then he was kind of hassling the backlines of the Blood Angels. So, I was actually a big fan of the Strategic Reserve Hellbrute, especially with the multi-Maltes. And having core, they can fight on death, they can heroically intervene, they can do lots of funny things. It's just another unit that you have to play around, I think. They're especially good, I think, if you're running a Juggerlord or Lord Invocatus, where they can get that extra move boost. I didn't have one of those today. Just don't have the points for one in my list. So I did miss that. They were a little bit slow, but when the guy's coming in from reserve and making an 8-inch charge, it felt pretty good. So I'm glad I added them in. And the Jackals were excellent. Really, really good. They're like my favorite unit, my favorite surprise unit from the new book. At just being weirdly good. All right, so we're going to start putting on the bone on the wings. So we're kind of following that same process with that Tanya bark. I do like doing these spines on the wings for the bone because it's just quick. It's not like a skull where you're going in and out of the cracks and crevices and being like, "Ooh, I better make sure I don't hit any of that beautiful recess." Even though it inevitably does not matter in the end. But these spines, they're straightforward. It's like, well, it's a long, straight kind of dagger-looking thing, so the lighting is going to go from one side straight into the other. Can a Hellbrute's Blood Surge? Hellbrutes cannot Blood Surge. Only Berserkers can Blood Surge. Hellbrutes, however, can heroically intervene 6 inches. They can fight on death, and they can do Gory Dismemberment for the mortal wounds. They also benefit from the Juggernaut's movement buff, and a bunch of other things. I actually got to use Blood Surge for the first time today, a couple of times. It was pretty clutch, especially into the Blood Angels matchup, meaning that you get a cheeky little fight first going somewhere, which I thought was quite nice. They can shoot when shot at. No, they don't have that stratagem anymore. What they have is when they are damaged, they can reroll ones to wound. I wish they could still shoot when they were shot. I used to do that all the time. Actually, funny story about that stratagem. When I played Jack Beeman from the channel, Dr. Jack, as many people know, we played a game in Warhammer World last year, and he flew his Demon Prince up in front of one of my Hellbrutes intending to charge it, and he kind of shot it with some random stuff, did a wound to it, and I casually just killed his Demon Prince because he was the closest enemy model when I shot with Hellbrute. It was pretty funny. Jack was pretty mad. I enjoyed it. It was a good meme. How does that work? The fact that you can fight first with Blood Surge in the enemy turn. Okay, so yeah, it's not necessarily obvious. What it is when the Berserker's Blood Surge. if they end that blood surge move in engagement range of an enemy unit, they are in combat at that point, right? So what that means is that when it comes around to the combat phase, that combat will have to be resolved. But the berserkers do not count as a charging unit. So that combat that has happened, it's effectively like they are locked in combat or have been. So it will go to defender's priority because say it's like the Blood Angels player turn, right? And they do a whole bunch of charges all across the board. And you resolve all those charges, that's fine. They kill a bunch of stuff. You maybe fight in death and you kill some stuff as well. You interrupt combat, blah, blah, blah. When it gets round to ongoing combats, then you do the Blood Surge Berserkers because no one counts as having charged if you are in that combat. So you will fight first because it's not your turn. And it's basically an ongoing combat, is what it's treated as. So if you Blood Surge into an enemy on their turn, it's basically treated as if it's a combat that has been ongoing from a previous turn, so you will get to fight first. I'm not sure if I explained that very well. Please let me know. But it's a really good trick if you see someone eyeing up a charge into your berserkers, and you can get the old blood surge move into them. It can be really useful. Yeah, it's super clutch. It's really clutch in the Blood Angels matchup because if they start shooting you with their melta pistols, they're all 6-inch range and 3 inches to get in melta range. So if they start shooting you with those, you are in blood surge ability range basically, which is pretty cool if they're not expecting it. Now I would always tell my opponent, like I said it today, but Mike was in some positions where he kind of had to make those plays. But yeah, it's quite a cool little trick to have up your sleeve. Yeah, there's a lot of janky ways of getting into combat and disrupting combat when it's not our turn. Like you have the 6-inch heroic stratagem, which is another really good way of doing it. You also have so you got the Berserker's Blood Surge move. You have interrupt combat. You have fight on death. You can actually kill an incredible amount of enemy units in your opponent's turn if they charge you in a lot of different places or if they just position badly. It can be quite devastating, actually. Darren, thank you. I appreciate that you think the red flesh is looking nice. It's looking pretty tight, I think. We are going to work a lot on it tomorrow. We're going to do some oil washes. We're going to do a little bit of oil blending as well to add a lot of shadows and stuff onto the flesh, which will be fun. So there is still a lot of work left to do for the flesh tones. We're going to darken it up. We don't want it to be so bright. Like, it's nice when it's bright, but we want it to be grimdark. We want things to look evil. We've almost been streaming for an hour already. That's pretty hype. Hope everyone is having a nice time chilling out in the stream. Good to see that we got the chat going, people talking. I'm liking this. It's keeping me entertained, which is good. Please continue to keep me entertained, or I shall grow bored. The player you play most against is Dark Angel Terminator spam with a unit of Black Knights, so you basically have to ally Heinous Skull Taker with a few blood letters and take Avocado. Yeah, the constant transhuman is a pain. One way you can get around that is by using the Blood Tide ability to just auto wound on 6s to hit. Just completely gets around transhuman abilities, which is quite useful. Let's move on to wing number 2. Whoops. Am I leaving the wing webbing black? No. This is what the wing webbing is going to look like when it's done. I've finished it on this wing, but not on the other one. Wing webbing, I mean, okay, if you want to be really realistic about wings, the wing webbing should never be darker than the dactyls, the wing fingers, I guess. It's the easiest way of describing those. Yeah, the membrane between the dactyls should never be darker than the actual dactyls themselves if you're trying to go for a realistic look. However, Angron is a demon, so demons don't really obey realism or the rules of reality. So if you want to make the wing membranes whatever color you want, you can do that. That's totally chill. But Grimdark kind of stems from realistic paint techniques or paint techniques that try and emulate realism on these miniatures. So that's why we are doing the wing webbing this color, because it kind of simulates that realism, is my thinking behind this. You got to go back and watch from the start? Yeah, I mean, again, you can catch the supercut when we finish, which I'm guessing will be out the week after next. I'll probably be able to put that out together, so probably 2 weeks' time. We will have the supercut out of all the streams and all that good stuff. Or you can go back and watch if you want. I would also appreciate that. I really don't mind too much, honestly. You folks hanging out in the stream and having a good time with me is just fantastic support, and I really appreciate that. These hobby streams have been more successful than I anticipated, and yeah, I enjoy the company while I'm painting. But the wing membranes, they're really fun to do, but I will warn you, it takes a really long time to build up this amount of color. We are going to do a lot more with them. Adam, you're saying the wing be looking fine. You know we got more work on that wing, though. I'm just giving everyone the lesson that you told me about wing membranes and about how they have to be lighter than the dactyls, because that's how realism works. Everyone in chat, Adam here, he's the wise sage that I consult every time I need help. He's the man who brings me back to reality. He always tells me that my painting is terrible and how to improve it, which has been great. Every time I think I've done something nice, I show it to him and he says it's terrible. And I'm like, yes, okay, good. Hello, Rin. Good to see you this evening. I was wondering if you were going to show up. Nice of you to join in. You working on any hobby, or are you just here for the vibe? Here for the vibe, but your order came in. Nice. Does that mean you finally have Angron? Oh wait, weren't you were playing your first game today, Ren, right? How did that go, if you played it? Or wait, is that later in the day? No, you're in roughly my time zone, right? Angron was scout. Oh, that sucks. That is no good. Nice. How did your game go? It was 1K against Necrons, as I recall. Tell me all about it. By the way, if audio is or video is not great, just someone let me know in chat. It's kind of difficult for me to keep an eye on everything all at once. So if something drops in terms of quality or sound or volume or whatever, just send it in chat and I'll get that switched up. You tied the game? That's sweet. Ties are always fun. I almost tied my game today. Almost. Video is pretty good so far. Would you say it is an average video? Is it average or slightly above average? These are the metrics I want to be hitting. Because we can't be good, you know. It's never going to be a good video. It's a paint stream of a very average hobbyist at the end of the day. But if we can hit average, we're doing quite well. We're almost done with this Tandia Bark layer, thankfully. Audio is pretty good. Okay, nice. Can you folks hear the background music? My buddy Jay, he put together this song for me. Check him out on Just Meadow on Spotify. Okay, so pretty funny. Some people can hear the music, some people can't. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. Okay, it's down super low. Let me know if it goes too high. And if it's too loud, let me know, and I can turn it down. If not, cool, good vibes. Yeah, just let me know, folks, and we'll go from there. So we have finished the Thondia Bark layer. What we're going to do now is a Mournfang Brown layer. That's coming up next. So we're basically kind of going over the areas that we've just done, but we'll be kind of doing some streaking elements to add a little bit of texture to the leathers and stuff like that. Not so much streaking on the skulls or anything just yet. But yeah, let's see how that goes. It's good? Okay, excellent. It's kind of hard to tell if the music's too loud or not because there's not really much feedback here. Feedback in terms of feedback coming from my own laptop, not from the stream. You folks are doing great. Keep me company. Maybe boost up a tiny bit more. Do you mean boost up my audio or boost up the music volume? So we're going to move to a medium layer brush for this. Boost up the music. Okay. I will do that. Let me know if that's good for the music or if it's too loud. Alright, so moving on to this Khorne brown layer. So we're kind of following the same paint pattern as before. We're going to add a little bit of streaking in with these leathers here. So it's going to be kind of stuff like this. We're going to work in from the edge, basically, in kind of sharp, stabby motions, sort of like what we did with the skin when we were adding all those striations and stuff. But we're not going to be too strict about it right now, because we are still just trying to add light and texture. Restarted the stream and got the music. Welcome back, Rin. Hope the music is vibing. Like I said, my good friend Jay put this song together for me. He's put a couple of other pieces together for the Red Path. Gonna shout him out now on stream. My boy Jay. Just Meadow on Spotify. He puts out great music once in a blue moon. Hit him up. Tell him the Red Path sent you. Ooh, that's nice though. Look at how this is coming out. That's real nice. Have I streamed any other miniatures, new Zerks or Jackals? No, I have not. The reason being is I have a tournament next week and Angron has to be ready for that tournament. So we're trying to get them done on time. But seeing as how these streams have been relatively successful, and if people want to see more of them, once I come back from this tournament, I can certainly think about streaming. I can think about streaming Angron or Jackals or Berserkers. His name on Spotify, Rin, is Just Meadow. That is Just Meadow. But yeah, I can totally stream like things like Jackals and Berserkers and 8-Bound and all the good stuff. Just let me know if it's something that you folks are interested in, because if we get the feedback and if people want to see more painting streams, we can totally do that. I just need to know. But you know, having a lot of people hanging out in chat is great, and it's a good sign that people seem to like it. But wow, yeah, isn't that real nice? I'm not sure if you folks can see it very well, but these leathers are really starting to get some nice texture going. And it's all thanks to, it's like a very, very watered down layer of Khorne brown, and we've added just a touch of Tondia brown into it as well, to make sure that it has that little blend with the previous layer. See, we're working it up as a highlight on the outside of this this leather strip here as well, just to make sure that we're retaining that highlight the whole way up. Yeah, no problem, Darren. I mean, we can totally do more videos. I was planning on doing 2 different hobby videos for 30k and 40k Berserkers using the new kit anyway. But we might stream the 30k one and just make a video for the 40k one, because you folks know that the 30k video is or the 30k scheme, that's my baby, you know, that scheme. We got to keep that for the good stuff. Maybe I'll show you how we do that live. Thank you, Rain. I appreciate the kind words about the leather. It is starting to look nice. It's going to look really good when we start adding some scratch marks on it as well. That's going to be coming up in the next layer. It's like I was saying earlier, while it takes a really long time to do the leather and bone, it's super satisfying once it's done. And if you do it right, it is totally worth it, in my opinion. I'm curious though, if you guys wanted to see a paint stream of any of the other new units. So we've got the 8-bound, we've got the Jackals, and we've got the Berserkers. Which would you guys want to see most on stream? Because that's what we'll do next. We'll put it like that. Whichever one you folks want to see more than all the others, we'll stream those next. So let me know in chat what you want to see, and we'll add it to the list. Because if you don't make a good decision, I'm just going to do Jackals, because Jackals are my favorite. And I think we can make some really grimdark looking Jackals if we want to. But I am a people pleaser, so I will just do whatever everyone else wants. Darren votes Zerks. That's fair. That is fair. Well, if no one else votes, Darren, we're gonna do Zerks. We also have the Juggerlord, of course, if anyone's interested in seeing how we do him. Or Invocatus. My process for the 8-bounds. Yeah. I would love to see my process as well, because I haven't decided on one. We are an hour into the stream, let's go. We'll probably do another hour or so. Nick, you also want to see the 8-bounds? 8-bound are winning at 2-1 right now. I mean, I kind of just want to paint the 8-bands because I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. And I think it would be a fun experience for you guys to see me just kind of break down on stream and get confused. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, I also like the lore for the new 8-bound, it's pretty funny. Alright, well, 8-band seem to be pretty popular, so I guess we're gonna paint 8-band next. I will do that for you folks. Do you want to see the champion with the lacerator's, or do you want to just see some random dude with the chain glaives? Also, actually, more importantly, do you want to see it in the 30k scheme or the 40k scheme? That's the real clencher. I'm not seeing any 8-band done in the 30k scheme yet. Must not forget these leather straps, because they're one of those easy ones to not notice when you're painting. And now we'll do his big ugly mug. Oh well, actually we'll do his Carnifex tail spines first. Okay, now we'll move on to his glorious arms. And I will have a sip of beer. The grinder spines will be up first. If you folks have any questions about any of these paint recipes as we are going along as well, please just feel free to ask, because we have no secrets here. If there is a technique that can help you when you're painting your own Angron, just ask. And we'll be more than happy to tell you how to do it. And it keeps me talking and keeps me thinking. What's my favorite shade of brown? A fantastic question. Brown is my favorite color. That's not true. Orange and brown are my two favorite colors. My favorite shade of brown from the Citadel range. It's gotta be Scrag Brown. It's a funny name. Solid color. You know, it's the perfect mid-tone brown. It's the color of a nasty poop, which is good. Big fan of Van Dyke brown in terms of oils. Always good. So yeah, some powerful browns. Dark brown wash for green vehicles is up there as well as one of my favorites. So I have a lot, you know, the brown range of paints is something that I'm something of an expert in. So I have quite strong opinions on those. What's Jamie saying? The old classic, old Van Dyke brown. Well, you know, good old Bob Ross. He's a big fan of Van Dyke brown. And Bob Ross is one of my great heroes. He's a fantastic man. If anyone hasn't seen any of Bob Ross's painting videos, it's well worth looking at. He's an incredibly nice individual, incredibly calming, and I tried to be like him in as many ways as I can, because that guy has got a great outlook on life. Very sadly passed away. But yeah, Bob Ross was, when I was in college, me and my buddy who we played Warhammer together. We were living together and we watched an awful lot of Bob Ross together. It was great. Okay, what did Jamie said? Do I paint any stuff to separate squads? Do you mean like squad markings? Yeah. Yeah, normally I do. So I either paint stuff or I model them to differentiate squads. So Berserkers are the one for me. So I have a squad of Berserkers that all have red helmets. I have a squad that all have the Kadere helmets. I have a squad that have red shoulder pads, where all the rest of my Berserker squads have blue shoulder pads. So I have little things to differentiate them. Normally it's modeling, or like my cultist squads will all be cultists from a specific kit, like they might be Trader Guardsmen, or one of my Jackal squads is all Arcoflagellants, you know. So it's usually modeling. I do sometimes paint on squad markings, but I find it quite annoying. So typically, no. For the 8 bounds, what I would probably do, I mean, like the 8 bound is an easy one. You could do a topless squad and a non-topless squad. Or what I'll probably end up doing, like I'm probably going to convert my 8 bound quite a lot, so I'll just think of that during the conversions, what kind of stuff I'm going to do. What paints did I use for the black and the brass? I feel like if there's a way to pin comments in YouTube, I should do that, because a lot of people ask me about the brass. So the brass starts off with Jet Exhaust Burnt Iron, which is a paint from Amomig. It is one of their acrylic paints, so it's kind of like the Citadel range, but it's like a matte metallic paint, and it's a really good base paint for bronze. So it starts off with that, and then I mix in Retributor armor, a little bit at a time, dry brush it on, mix in a little bit more, dry brush again, and then I will mix in some Canoptic alloy into that mix, and dry brush that on, and then a final highlight of just raw Canoptic alloy. So it's about 5 layers altogether, all of them dry brushed to give a natural look. And yeah, that's kind of how it ends up going. We are going to wash it. We're going to give it a nice little oil wash. We're going to do some weathering on it later. But yeah, that's kind of the recipe for the bronze. Lots of people seem to be asking about that one. It seems to be quite popular. But I do think it came out really nice, to be fair. So I can see why people are interested in that bronze stone. What's Rin saying? You need to make some 8 bound ideas to diversify them? Yeah. Yes. One thing I was thinking of doing was, if I ever end up running Exalted 8 bounds, painting their armor bronze, like Angron's armor. I think that could diversify them and make them stick out compared to regular 8 bounds. It's one idea I had. But I was also just going to run my Possessed as Exalted 8 bound to kind of show that they're a little bit further on the path to demonic possession. You know, dabbling in the fine art a little bit more. All that junk out of the camera feed. Back to the wings. We're going to start to see some nice colors come in on the wings now. Maybe not necessarily this layer, but the next one. These horns are going to start to jump out a little bit. You're gonna make a Khorne rune with 8-pound backpacks and limbs? Yeah, I mean, that can certainly work. I feel like people will come up with some interesting ideas to differentiate the 8-pound squads. Mainly because I don't think the kit does a good enough job of doing it, and if you're running 8-pound and Exalted 8-pound in the same army, I can see how that would get confusing. Let us get out some more Mornfang bread before we continue with the second wing. Travis, you finally got your Angron? Hell yeah, my friends. Hell yeah. That is very hype. You can't wait for the washes tomorrow? Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Hopefully we get to the washes tomorrow. We are going a little bit slow. I think we might end up having to do more wing membrane stuff tomorrow, which is lame. But I know a lot of people missed the wing membrane stream during the week and want to know how to do that. So I guess we can cover that as well, because that's a fun one. So we could be doing that. We could end up doing the washes early next week. Oh, excuse me. M'scusey. So who knows? I tried to plan out the streams with what we were actually going to be painting, you know, day by day, being like, oh, today we'll paint this, today we'll paint that, but I am really bad for sticking to deadlines, and that's just not what ended up happening. So now they're just called Painting Angron streams. And y'all will have to just deal with that. I mean, realistically, I probably won't be doing the oil wash on stream anyway, because I will be wearing a respirator, so I won't exactly be able to talk to chat. And it would be a very kind of boring part as well, because it would just be hours and hours of drying. Dara? Where's that coming from? Oh, the respirator? Yeah. Yeah. The joy of oil washing. And all the pains that come with it. Okay, so that is the Mornfang brown layer laid down. I think we may potentially end the stream here for tonight because we have to do a bunch more brown layers, and you know, it's a little bit dull and tedious. And we've been streaming for about an hour and a half, which is kind of the limit that I've been more or less aiming for each night. An hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours if I'm feeling in a great mood. But yeah, we got a nice bit done this evening, and we're going to continue off camera laying down a few more of those brown layers just to get that kind of boring stuff done before we move on to probably some wing membrane stuff tomorrow. So I'm gonna be painting pretty early in the day tomorrow. I potentially will stream in the morning and then stream in the evening, but I'll definitely be streaming in the evening no matter what happens. I may stream in the morning if I'm feeling in a good mood, but we shall see. But yeah, it's been another really fun painting stream. Thank you so much everyone for hanging out. Appreciate all the love and support in chat. It keeps me going, keeps me entertained for these painting streams, and makes me feel like they are valued. So thank you so much for joining in and chatting and doing your own hobby and all that good stuff. So we will be back tomorrow, probably around 7 p.m. GMT. We might do a stream in the morning. We shall see. But yeah, thank you so much everyone for hanging out. I'm going to end the stream for now. Looking forward to seeing you all again tomorrow. So until the next one, folks, stay healthy, stay safe, and kill